Hey, let's do some practice questions. I feel like doing practice. I love practice questions. All right, so the first one I've got here, which type of access control would be most suitable for a system that stores data of the highest sensitivity level? All right, highest sensitivity, what that makes me think of is something like government, secrets, top secrets, national secrets, or within business, secret formulas, secret modes of operation, processes, something that we really need to protect within the business. So, looking at the answers, what I see is mandatory access control and discretionary access control. Those kind of jump out at me kind of immediately. MAC and DAC are two theories that were invented probably before, but the first document I know they show up in is the Orange Book, TCSEC, from 1985. So those are some old terms, but the core theories behind DAC and MAC is DAC is going to be the owner. It allows the owner to say, this user needs this level of access to this system or this file or this data. It's all up to the owner, or a human would be the way to look at it. A person gets to say, this is the level of access that they get. Where mandatory access control is much more complex. You clear the users, so a user would have a secret clearance, top secret clearance, or whatever labels you're using in your business, and then you have to classify every piece of data. And you need a policy that says, if you're this clearance, you're allowed this level of access to that classification. Think Bella Padula. Or go check that video out. So looking at clearances and classifications, what have we cleared a user to be able to see based on background checks and job and need to know. And there's a system that's going to implement or only allow access based on the policy. Human doesn't have to sit down and say, this is the user, this is the level of access, this is the way it's going to work. It's clearance, classification, here's the rules, and the system enforces it. It's very unusual across the planet. It's very unusual to actually have a mandatory access control system because it is complex and expensive. So out of those two, I like MAC better, but there are two other answers. System high and role-based. So MAC and DAC are two core theories. Role-based is probably the most common implementation of DAC or MAC. Role-based is granting access based on your role, whatever your job is. If you can group a whole lot of people into a specific role, then define what the role has access to, life is a lot easier for the administrators. So role-based implementation of DAC or MAC. Most common implementation of role-based is DAC. DAC's the most common. MAC is very uncommon on the planet. Role-based is common. So role-based is actually normally implemented in a DAC environment. DAC or MAC, those are your two choices. That's the theory, DAC or MAC. We have a lot more than traditional DAC says when we're doing role-based, but it's still discretionary access control. So MAC or role-based, I have to go with MAC as the highest sensitivity. But there's still one more answer. System high. System high actually is a real thing. System high is when the system and all of the data it contains are the same classification. So if the system is classified top secret and all the data inside the system is top secret, it's system high. If you have a top secret system and a secret piece of data in that system, it's not system high. So looking at that, it's not a requirement to have the system and all the data be the same level for the highest sensitivity level as the question's asking. So I'm going to have to go with MAC. MAC is the better answer here. So there's one.